Hello and welcome back to Frogboy X1 Gaming. I'm Andrew, and today I want to talk about PlayStation versus Xbox, PlayStation 5 versus Series X, and the overall picture that me as a consumer is seeing right now. So if you like this content, don't forget to like and subscribe, and let's get started with this. So the other day I made a video talking about the pricing model for the Ghost of Tsushima upgrade for current owners of the game that already have the game. I wouldn't say that I was exactly heated about it, but I wasn't exactly happy. I kind of feel like it's kind of like a slap in the face to early adopters of the Ghost of Tsushima game. Not that that's completely a bad thing. I mean, it optics matter. Optics matter more now than they ever have before. As a gamer, I mean, I remember paying $96 for Mortal Kombat Ultimate on the Super Nintendo. So I mean, game prices have always been, kind of high. And right now, with Microsoft, offering probably the best value in gaming I've ever seen in my life, it just makes one question, should Sony compete with this? Should they bring prices to a point where it's more in line with kind of what Xbox is doing? I mean, yes and no. Honestly, to be completely honest, PlayStation does make some of the best looking video games on the market, hands down. They achieve that through, making smaller, more condensed, worlds and stories and stuff. They really good. They are really good at what they do. To be completely honest, I mean, Ghost of Tsushima was a good game. I mean, it completely kept me entertained for well over, I'm pretty sure I put about 45 hours into that game when I was playing it. Getting through that campaign, and I've put more hours into it since then. I've gone back and I've played around with it a lot. But the question is, it's getting harder and harder and harder to see PlayStation 5 as any kind of a value proposition whatsoever. They are starting to get a little bit more aggressive when it comes to PlayStation Now, but they still haven't put any PlayStation 5 games on that service to date. Once they do, it will start to become a better value once there are PlayStation 5 titles on that. As it sits right now, I mean, if you go out and you buy a PS5, you are going to make a pretty decent, depending on what games you get, you're going to make a pretty decent investment right out of the gate with that. Like, you are going to have to, I mean, most of their games, I haven't really seen them go on sale that often on the PlayStation Store for the PS5 titles. And when they do go on sale, it's only for, like a couple weeks or something. So yeah, I mean, you are going to pay a premium for your PlayStation 5 content. That's how it's sitting right now. And I guess, I mean, right now, I do not think that that Sony is looking at Microsoft as a real threat. And I mean, maybe they are, but to me that's confusing because, I mean, places like GameStop exist for a reason, man. Gamers can be cheap. And when you want new content, like, yeah, I mean, they might be making that money off the top of the brand new purchase, of the PlayStation 5 games or whatever. But um, when it comes to Sony first party, I mean, most of those games, in my opinion, you can treat them as a one and done experience, and I'm like, once you buy that and trade it in, and somebody else trades it in, and they keep trading it in, a lot of people are going to get to experience that game for the price of just buying it one time. And that's the same. I mean, that's definitely the same with with Game Pass. Like, Game Pass gives you the ability to play basically a lot of different a lot of different experiences, dating all the way back to the original Xbox, as well as new third party content day and date, with all of Microsoft's first party exclusives, including Bethesda and EA Play. Well, no, not EA Play, but I mean, EA Play is included, but with Bethesda Xbox or Bethesda exclusives coming day and date to Game Pass, the value of Game Pass is extremely high. You are getting you're getting a lot of extra content for your $15 a month on the Xbox ecosystem, whereas with PlayStation titles, I mean, you could probably find PlayStation games on sale, like hard copies on sale. I'm not saying that like you have to pay exactly $70 for every game, because no, I mean, there's ways around that. There's ways to get this content cheaper. But when it comes to it in the end, like I said earlier, optics matter. And right now, with the way the things are, I mean, I literally just spent $50 to fill my gas tank, whereas this time, well, yeah, this time last year it was like a couple dollars a gallon. I could fill it for like $25. The cost of things are going up so rapidly that being able to go out and purchase an Xbox and get Game Pass and be able to completely satisfy your gaming needs is definitely an extreme savings when you compare and contrast that to the PlayStation 5 ecosystem right now. Me personally, let me get this out of the way. Me personally, as a gamer, if I want content or I want something, I'm gonna get it. You know what I mean? I'm gonna get it, and I'm gonna enjoy it. I'm gonna consume it however I want to. But when it comes down to it, in the end, I think PlayStation right now, because I mean, honestly, I've been a PlayStation fan for over 25 years. I've had every single PlayStation console, every single PlayStation peripheral, everything PlayStation, probably almost pretty close to 100% of all PlayStation exclusives I've bought and played. So when it comes to me, a longtime fan, saying, dude, what are you guys doing, man? Like, Xbox is one hell of an amazing deal. And I used to manage a game store, like, kind of like GameStop, Game Crazy, and to look at the way PlayStation is handling this right now, to me, almost feels tone deaf. But at the same time, keeping that image of a higher quality standard, and it's a fine line to tread, man. It's a fine line to tread. And if you ask me personally, I have yet to play one of those $70 experiences. Ratchet and Clank was pretty good, but I still don't see that as a necessary. I still don't see that as a necessary experience on the PlayStation 5. Like, I just don't. I don't see that. It's hard for me to recommend you pay $75 after tax for Ratchet and Clank. $60 is fine. Like, I mean, like what they used to charge, the old price. Yeah, that's fine. That's definitely fine. I don't see it as a necessary experience for $70, to tell you the truth. I mean, it's definitely the best Ratchet and Clank I've ever played, but I don't know, man. It's hard to recommend that for as being a top tier, gaming experience. Like, I'm sure that people out there are gonna love it. Some people are gonna love it and be like, yeah, man, that's great. That was fair. But I think there's a very fine line, honestly, in my opinion. I think there's a very fine line for this cost increase. If it was, like on a title by title basis, then maybe, I could get behind it a little more. But right now, I'm having trouble seeing the value of paying $70 for games that theoretically could run on a PlayStation 4 Pro. Just because they have a little bit shinier graphics, that does not justify the extra $10. Because if you buy a PC, the most powerful PC and the weakest PC, on the weakest PC you're going to have potato graphics. On the best PC you're going to have the best graphics you can get out of that video game. So running that spectrum, it's not like if you have a 3090 card in a great setup, they're going to be like, oh yeah, well, as soon as you have all that, we're going to charge you an extra $10 for all the extra graphics that are going into this game. No, that's not the case. Like, you get that package and it scales across all of those things. So for them to tell you that, oh yeah, well, just because it's got better graphics, that doesn't make any sense, dude. That doesn't hold any water whatsoever. They're still making the game. They want to make the game. They want to sell the game. If PlayStation thinks that, this price is justified, I mean, in a way, it kind of is. They haven't none of the video game companies have risen the price in a long time. But last generation was the worst generation ever for putting out busted, buggy games that took months to fix. I personally don't want to pay $10 more for another broken game experience from a third-party developer, because Sony, I think I've already spent lots of money on games and had to wait months to finally start playing them until the bugs were fixed. So this charging a higher price for games is kind of a big deal in terms of that. Like, Sony's been pretty decent about putting out, solid experiences, from the get-go. So, I can kind of understand that, but I do still believe that this should be like on a case-by-case basis when it comes to pricing. So, now I want to go over, like, from my experience with both consoles, the pros and cons of each console. Right now, like, Xbox is like completely outweighing that. Smart delivery. It makes it a seamless experience. You buy a game on the Xbox, you download the same copy. Your save files just transfer automatically. That's pretty seamless, dude. Xbox has offered a seamless experience in that. So you have enhanced backwards compatibility with features like FPS boost and auto HDR. You get Dolby Vision. I don't think the Dolby Vision update is actually out for everybody yet, but once that comes, you get Dolby Vision on your Xbox. There are currently more 120 FPS games on the Xbox. In my experience, the Xbox color, on the TV just looks more vibrant. A much better value with Game Pass, and then a lot more free updates for games. The cons, the things these are the things that really bug me about the Xbox Series X, and it is, streaming to YouTube, it's non-existent. It needs to be a feature on the Xbox. And the complete lack of, exclusive games at the console's launch. We're getting closer to 8 months since these consoles launched. It'll be 8 months here in, gosh, what is it, like 10 days or whatever? No, 8 days. 8 days. We've got 8 months, and we still have only had Gears Tactics as an actual console exclusive for the Xbox Series X. So, the Medium is no longer considered an Xbox exclusive because that will be launching on the PlayStation 5 in September. So the first console exclusive we'll be getting for the Xbox is going to happen this month with Flight Simulator. So, yeah, as it sits right now, but I have to be completely honest, that never really bothered me because I bought the Series X purely for the enhanced backward compatibility on day one, fully knowing that it could be a while before I get exclusive games. I mean, technically, they said the first year we wouldn't get any exclusive games. Everything would be cross-generation. So 8 months, well, being able to get, Gears Tactics, definitely a niche game for people that like RTSs. I'm not really that big into them. So PlayStation 5, okay, these... I've been sitting here for a while scratching my head on, trying to figure out, what exactly, are the pros for this. I mean, it launched with games, and it is getting exclusives more frequently than the Xbox. But some of those exclusives are now being reworked and put back onto PlayStation 4. So that, I mean, it's still a positive because there is content to play on your PlayStation 5, whether you like it or not. I mean, whether it's exclusive content, there is new content from first party on the PlayStation 5 already to date. And then the YouTube streaming is really seamless. It's really good. I really like that. The biggest con for me is charging for next gen updates. I mean, they haven't been extreme with that to date. Well, I mean, with the PlayStation one, it was a $20 upgrade fee. And then with everything else, it's been right around 10, and now Ghost of Tsushima, because of the new content being added, is $30. So, I mean, I think that $20 would have been fair for that. They could have given me the upgraded, PlayStation 5 version for free, or whatever, because that game only came out a year ago. The only reason I say that is because this game literally came out last year, and so did The Last of Us 2. They came out last year, so I mean, buying that game within a year, I do kind of feel like there shouldn't really be that upgrade fee. I mean, I could see it if it was a game that was, 2 years old, and they're like, oh yeah, we're going to go ahead and upgrade that for next gen console, and then charge you $10. Like I'm fine with that. That is work. What it tells me for the game coming out a year after the PlayStation 5 with the upgrades and everything, that tells me this stuff has already been in the works when I bought the game last year, so it should technically be free. That's how I feel about it. And you can say I'm wrong, and you can put it in the comments or whatever. But I feel like if the game was made last year, yeah, dude, the upgrade should be free. It should be free. It came out. The PlayStation 5 came out. What was it, like 5 months after the game launched? So yeah, dude, that should definitely be a free upgrade to a PlayStation 5 version, or at least It definitely should be a free one for that one, especially with the, if you're buying the content, I mean, I don't think it should be like, yeah, I do kind of feel like it should be free, but that's just me. So basically, those are the only two things that I could find that are really, pros when it comes to the PlayStation 5 right now, launch. I mean, the controller with the haptics and everything like that, I don't really, I mean, it's hit or miss with most of the games on it so far, so I really don't, it really hasn't made my experience better or worse. Well, it unless you're playing a racing game, then the triggers, you just turn them off, so it's not, it doesn't completely ruin the experience, but it doesn't make it any better whatsoever. So basically, that's kind of where I'm at with the PlayStation and the Xbox, pros versus cons. Like right now, Xbox Series X, they are the underdog right now out of the gate. They are, and that's because of choices they made with the Xbox One. So they do probably have to do a lot more of this stuff, to attract, to bring fans back to the ecosystem. Whereas PlayStation, I mean, when it all comes down to it, yeah, they're probably going to get away with, they could probably get away with, doing the current business model for it. I'll tell you, as a PlayStation fan, it really has rubbed me the wrong way a lot this generation with a lot of the stuff they're doing. But I have 5 decades of experience with PlayStation, so I mean, this is the second time that I've kind of felt, but like the PlayStation 3 generation was probably the worst for PlayStation in terms of, just system and game content and stuff like that. I mean, toward the end of the PlayStation 3 generation, it started to ease up and get a little better, but the first of the PlayStation 3 generation was freaking terrible, like completely terrible, like worse than freaking Xbox One. Yeah, definitely worse than Xbox One, so or Xbox 360. No, Xbox One. Yeah, Xbox 360 was actually Microsoft's best generation for Xbox ever. I do believe that there's going to be. I believe the Xbox and PlayStation competition is going to be a lot closer this time, but I also don't think that PlayStation and Xbox are really necessarily competing for the same thing anymore. I kind of feel like Xbox is set its sights a lot farther out, and PlayStation is still serving the console market, for the single player experience, which isn't a bad thing. That's kind of what I want them to do. They gotta make money. So at the end of the day, me personally, I'm gonna live. I'm gonna be okay with this. Like it is what it is. I definitely think it kind of hurts the name recognition for PlayStation a little bit, but at the same time, as long as they can deliver on the promise of quality, but like it's gonna be okay. They're gonna survive this, guys. So that's just kind of the way I've been feeling lately, especially with the pricing of the upgrades for the next gen. I'm about $1,400 into my PlayStation 5 setup, and I've probably played maybe 50 hours or so. So yeah, I don't know. And with my Xbox, I've spent far more time on it. I bought that at launch, so I've had the PlayStation for a little over almost 4 months now. It'll be 4 months on the 12th when I have that. So yeah, thanks for watching this content. If you like this content, don't forget to like and subscribe. It really helps out the channel, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks.